Daily English. How are you all? Hope you're safe in the midst of COVID pandemic. I'm really excited to see you all after a long time. While I was preparing the lessons for my students, I thought that this session on grammar would be quite useful for those who are preparing for various competitive exams. So here I'm going to offer you lessons on active and passive voice with the help of PPT for a better and easy understanding. So let's get started.
Hi everyone, let's have a discussion on active voice and passive voice. Before looking into the conversion of active voice into passive voice, let's have an understanding of the usage of active voice and passive voice in our day-to-day life. First of all, let's read the sentence that is given in the active voice and passive voice. Ramu kicked the ball. The ball was kicked by Ramu. After reading the sentence, we understand that the meaning of both sentence remains same. And what is the difference here? There's a difference in structure. The first sentence, which is in the active voice, is little more straightforward and easy to understand, little more direct at the same time. And we may wonder why we have to use passive voice instead of active voice. See, this active voice is used in situation where we have to highlight the action that is done by the subject. See the sentence. Identify the verb in the sentence given there. Identify the verb Ramu kicked the ball. What is the action there? Verb means action. What is action? Yes, very good. It's kick. Who does the action here? Who does the kick? Yes, it's Ramu. So, the person who does the action is the subject in active voice. And who receives the action here? It is the ball. So, here the ball is the object. Active voice is mainly used in our day-to-day conversation where we want to highlight the action that is done by the subject. Here the action that is done by the subject is kick the ball. So we use active voice in such situations. And why do we want to use passive voice? Passive voice is used when we want to highlight what happened to the subject. Here the subject is the ball. The ball was kicked. It is used in certain situations where when we have to highlight what happens to the subject. Clear? So active voice is used to highlight the action that is done by the subject, while passive voice is used to highlight what happens to the subject. The ball was kicked. Got it? Now let's look into the conversion of active voice into passive voice. Let's look into the structure of it. See the structure of the active. See, subject, verb, object. What happens when the active voice is converted into passive voice? See, when active voice is converted into passive voice, the object here, the ball, becomes the subject of the passive voice. First thing that we have to identify is when we have to convert active voice into passive voice, identify the object of the active voice. Here, what is the object? The ball. Write it first and it becomes the subject there. Okay, we have identified the subject and written it there. After that, identify the various be forms. Various forms of be. The different forms of be are, if it's in the present, we can use is, are, or am. If it's in the present continuous, use being. If it's present perfect, use been. And past use was or were. Past continuous you also use being. Past perfect use being. So here identify the tense here. Identify the tense of the active voice in order to add be into the sentence. So identify the tense here. Kicked. So we understand that the sentence is written in the past tense. So what will be the past form of be? The past form of be was or were. And which one we should prefer? See the subject here. The subject, the ball is singular. So which one we should prefer? We should prefer was. So we have added the form of be, the past form of be, which is was. The next thing you have to do is add the V3 form, which is the verb in active voice kick. Okay, identify the V3 form. We have learned in our younger classes, in a grammar classes, the three forms of the verb. See here, break, broke, broken. Break is a base form, broke is a past form, and broken is a V3, which is a past participle. And we have also done many exercises on it. Sit, sat, catch, caught, caught, sing, sang, sung. So what we have to do is we have to use a V3 form of the verb. V3, the past participle. So write the past participle of the verb here. What is the past participle of kick? Kicked. Okay, write it. Again, add by into it. By after this kick. Again, write who does the action. Subject. Write the subject there. By Ramu. So the sentence is complete. The ball was kicked by Ramu. Ramu kicked the ball. The ball was kicked by Ramu. Here, both sentence meaning remains the same. The tense also remains the same. The structure changes. One will be giving importance to the action that is made by the subject, and the passive voice gives importance to what happens to the subject. Clear? Let's start doing more exercises on it. Let's change the first sentence from active to passive. He writes poems. Identify the verb here. Write. Identify the subject. Who writes? He writes. Again, identify the object. Poems. So you have to write the poems in the beginning of the sentence. Again, identify the tense of the active voice. The sentence is written in the present form. We have identified S here. So which is the be form? Present form of be is are or am. Since the subject here is plural, we have to write the be form in the plural form, which is are. Again, take the V3 form of the verb, which is the verb here, write. The V3 form of write is written. Again, add by and by whom. What is the subject here? He. By him. Okay, clear. He writes poems. Poems are written by him. In both the sentence, there is no change in the meaning of the sentence. It remains same. Now look into the next one. She is making tea. She is making tea. What is the verb? Make. And who does the action? She. So she is the subject. And what is object here? Tea. Yes. So write the object first, which becomes the subject in passive voice. Identify the object and write it here. Again, identify the tense in the sentence. Identify the tense in the active voice. Yes, we know that it's written in the present continuous. Yes, ing plus is plus ing. So identify the form of be in present continuous. It is being. Yes, so add is being. Again, V3 form, which is a V3 form of make. It is made. Again, add by subject, by her. And so change she to her. So she is making tea. Tea is being made by her. So there is no change in the meaning. Meaning remains the same. Okay. Look at the next one. They have completed the work. They have completed the work. Identify the verb complete. Who does the action? They. So they is a subject. The work is the object. So write the object first here, which becomes a subject. Again, what you have to do is identify the tense. Identify the tense of the active voice. Have completed. Sentence is written in present perfect tense. Have completed. Okay. So identify the be form of present perfect. It is been. Identify been here. So since the work is singular, you have to add has. Has, again be form. Been, again V3 form of the verb. V3 form of the verb is complete, is completed. Again add the subject by them. So they have completed the work. The work has been completed by them. Let's change the fourth sentence into passive voice. He helped Ramu. Identify the verb. It is help. Who does the action? He. So he is the subject here. And who receives the action? Ramu. So Ramu is the object. So object becomes subject in passive voice. We have written Ramu here. Again identify the tense of the active voice. We understand that it's written in the past tense because ed. It's written in the past tense. Identify the be form in the past tense. Yes, was or were. Ramu singular. So we have to use a singular form of be. Ramu was. Again, the V3 form of the verb here is help. So V3 form is helped. Ramu was helped. Again add by, and by whom? Who's the subject here? He. He becomes him. He helped Ramu. Ramu was held by him. The meaning remains same. Tenses also remain same. Look into the next sentence. She was mending socks. She was mending socks. Identify the verb here. Yeah, mend. Who does the action? She does the action. And what is the object here? Socks. So here, socks becomes the subject in passive voice. We have written the object first. Again, identify the tense of the active voice. The sentence is written in past continuous tense because ing, past, was, mending. So identify the be form in the past continuous, being. Yes. Since socks is plural, you have to use socks were being. Ing form of being. Be. Okay. Were being. Again, V3 form of meant. It is mended. Add by. Who receives the action? Who does the action? By her. So, socks were being mended by her. Clear? Let's look into the next one. The candidate had answered all the questions. What is the verb here? Answer. Who does the action? The candidate does the action. And who is the receiver? All the questions. The candidate had answered all the questions. So we have identified the object and write it first. Again, identify the tense of the sentence. See, had answered. Sentence is written in the past perfect tense. So identify the be form. Past perfect tense, it's been. Okay. Since all the questions you have done had been, again V3 form of answer, it is answered. Again add by, and by whom? By the candidate. Okay, the candidate had answered all the questions. All the questions had been answered by the candidate. Clear? Here try to change the sentence into passive voice. Someone stole my watch. Someone stole my watch. Identify the verb. It's steal. Yes, right. So who does the action? Someone. So someone is a subject and the object is my watch. So write the object first, my watch. Again, identify the tense of the sentence. Sentence is written in the past tense, stole. Okay, so identify the past form of be, was, were. So since my watch is singular, you have to use the singular form of be, which is was. Again, go for the V3 form of the verb steal here, which is a V3 form of steal. Steal, stole, stolen. Yes, so write the V3 form of steal, which is stolen. Here we have avoided the use of subject. What is the subject here? Someone. In such cases, if the subject is like, if the subject is not clear to you, if it's mentioned like someone, by someone, somebody, him, people or public, you can avoid the use of subject there. You can skip it and can write it as my watch was stolen. Such details are unnecessary. Clear? Try to solve the next one. They made him their leader. They made him their leader. Identify the verb made. Identify the subject they. And object they made whom? Him. So he is the subject here. And identify the tense of the active voice. It is written in the past tense. So identify the past form of be, which is was. Since he is singular, you have to take was. Again, write the V3 form of the verb make. What is the V3 form of make? Made. Okay. Again, made their leader. Here also we have avoided the use of the subject here, by whom. We haven't written by whom. He was made their leader. It is such details are unnecessary. We haven't mentioned it. So these are all about conversion. Here I have provided you some questions to work out. You can just pause the video and write down the answers, and you can check your answers in the next slide. Check your answers, and if you have got all the questions correct, you can leave it in the comment section. That is all about active and passive voice. I hope you had a good idea on it. We'll meet again with reported speech. Till then, this is Reshma Prasad signing off. Goodbye.